Good morning.
Hello.
For those of you who have never been on one of our webinars, we have Dr. Pam. Dr. Pam. Seriously,
Listen, you have a degree. I love it.
Dr. Dan Witkowski, and I'm Pam Witkowski. Dr. Dan's double board certified in obstetrics and gynecology and lifestyle medicine. I am a lifestyle ambassador, and that's what I call myself. I'm the connector. We have on the program today, Dr. Peter Martoni. You may know him as Dr. SleepRight. But, you know, it's interesting because as a lifestyle medicine physician, Dan, nutrition, you said, I remember when you first learned about lifestyle medicine, nutrition trumps everything, right?
It's all I used to say. That was my mantra. That's right.
And so at some point, you had an epiphany about how sleep was just right up there neck and neck with nutrition. And, you know, just like, what was that epiphany that you had?
Right. Just like many of us that get attracted to healthcare, it's usually something in our lives that bring us to then want to help people either with our own personal experiences or experiences from people around us. And I was at the time a lifestyle medicine physician. As a matter of fact, I was even a board certified lifestyle medicine doctor at the time when I attended a lecture at one of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine conferences where this lifestyle medicine doctor got up and was a sleep expert.
Never heard of that.
And I'm like, what? And I listened to him for 1 hour go through all of what sleep is, all of how sleep affects our health, our lives, our relationships, all of how sleep has been studied. And there was actual evidence in the medical literature about how we should sleep or what our goals should be about our sleep, about sleep hygiene, about words I never even thought of when it came to sleep. And here I am, you know, an obstetrician. Right. What was I?
Sleep is not really an option for an obstetrician.
Many times I could not control my sleep. And here I was now learning about the science of sleep.
So fast forward, we meet Dr. Peter Martoni.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, and a chiropractor, board certified, you know, chiropractor. He is renowned sleep expert, and he told us things about sleep that we had never even heard of above and beyond what we heard at the conference.
Right.
And about restorative sleep, about how you can actually restore your body while you're sleeping. So, Dr. Peter, if you will, I am just thrilled to have you on the program today. And you level up sleep like nobody I've ever heard about. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your wonderful studio where you are here today. Incredible. You know, what about sleep and the effect on health?
And that's very interesting. Thank you guys so much. And I really appreciate you guys and everything that you're doing. And Dan and Pam, when we met, we just immediately connected, right? Just because of, you know, how synergistic and aligned we are health-wise. And I often say, you know, somebody goes, oh, I wake up in the morning early to go to the gym. And I always ask them the question. I'm like, well, what's more important, exercise or sleep? They're like, well, I got to exercise. I'm like, all right, try going 5 days without exercise and 5 days without sleep. And you tell me what's more important. So there's a hierarchy of things within our body, like air. Well, you know, breathing, right? Try going, you know, hours without air. You can't do it. And there are certain things, hydration or food, right? You can go, you know, a lifetime being dehydrated, a lifetime being malnourished, but you remove hydration away. So there are certain things and core principles that our body needs. And sleep is amongst the biggest one, but I didn't appreciate it as much going through life as I do now. I'm the same way. But my appreciation came from a different angle. You never wake up, you know, I'm a structural specialist. I'm a kinesiologist, an exercise physiologist, a chiropractor. So I love the study of biomechanics. I never woke up and thought, oh my God, I'm going to be a sleep expert. That to me is like one of the most boring things that, you know, you can kind of think about. But what excited me about sleep is I'm not in the sleep industry because I want to help people sleep better. I'm in the sleep industry because I needed to fix my own problems spine wise that I had at night while I slept. And, you have the opportunity when we really look at sleep, arguably, should you get 7.5, 8, 9 hours? I have my opinions on that and what is right for you. We do that within our systems. But ultimately, you're spending 8 hours in potentially one position or in bed, a third of your life. And most people just think, oh, I just got to get better sleep. I got to sleep better. And they only look at it from the framework of being recharged and well rested. But nobody looks at the structural, either, destruction that you get while you sleep, how your posture is affected while you sleep. And because your spine's like clay, it's moldable. And I always had back pain. I always had neck pain. And then finally, I had a disc that herniated and ruptured. And I'm like in the emergency room, like, how can it come to this? How can I be a chiropractor? And being in the emergency room, hooked up on Dilaudid because it was the only medication that I could get that got rid of the pain. And I started reviewing x-rays. I reviewed 3,000 x-rays and found that I had back pain because of an adaptive forward head posture, which we're all doing all day long. My head came forward because of my sleeping position.
Right.
So then I theorized at the time, this was 15 years ago, that I could roll up a towel and get my neck stretched back while I slept because I was a side sleeper curled up in a ball. And theoretically, it would be able to get rid of a psoas muscle spasm in my spine that attaches directly to my disc. I did that night in, night out, night in, night out. And because my why was big enough, which means my why was, will I ever practice again? Will I have a mountain bike again? I forced myself to stay in that position with hours and hours of loss of sleep, with pain when I woke up. But over a period of time, as my spine adapted, I transformed not just the health of my spine, but I sleep through the whole night. I don't toss and turn. And now when I started implementing that with patients' life, it transforms their results.
Yes.
And I can testify to that transformation.
Me too.
Absolutely. I mean, we got Dan, delivering babies, like I say, doesn't have a lot of options. Exactly. You want to talk about that.
Come on, push, baby, push.
But when he is sleeping, now he has some practical strategies that he can use to get that restorative sleep when he's sleeping. I know I'm getting better sleep. I'm wearing an Oura ring, so I track my sleep, and I always say the numbers don't lie. And absolutely, my numbers they've been stellar after implementing some of the things that you've taught us. Simple things. And I love that you're always talking about how it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have to, find a way to stay in that same position all night long. It's really not possible.
Right.
So would you be willing to share a few of those practical strategies with us that you taught us?
Sure, yeah. And most people, when they think about, so let's think about how the body sleep. Like there's a battle going on within our bodies when we sleep. And I call it the sleep triune. It's the conscious brain, it wants comfort, right? It wants to be in control. But really, the subconscious brain, it's really what controls sleep. The subconscious brain wants safety. But really, one of the reasons why we don't get great sleep is because of the third aspect of the triune, and that's the body. The body wants alignment. So when we the average person will toss and turn 20 to 40 times a night because we're in pain. And normally we're in pain because we're sleeping in a position that's not sustainable. So we want to reverse the triune, right? What the conscious brain mistakes for comfort, it's safety. The subconscious brain wants safety. So we curl up in these balls and we make the subconscious brain feel safe, and then we're able to fall asleep. But that's not sustainable position-wise for the body. So we want to reverse the triune, which means we want to put the body in alignment, then create safety for the subconscious brain. There are different ways to do it. And then just be able to get the conscious brain out of the way, because the conscious brain is what destroys our sleep. Because when I show you the positioning, most people, I can't do that. There's no way. I'm going to snore. you know, I just don't feel safe. Like there's all of these conscious, you know, disruptions to
Sure.
patterns that are going to, you know, that are going to limit you. Because if the pain of change is less than the perceived benefit, you'll never change. So most people are like, oh, I can't. So you put the body in alignment and then you create safety. This is truly how we fall asleep.
Mm.
And when you put the body in alignment, creating safety depends on your personality type. Your personality type, you either, we call in our system, you either a gorilla, an armadillo, or an ostrich. You know, the gorilla can just sleep anywhere. The subconscious brain is so confident, you just, you know, you can
Yeah.
fall asleep anywhere. The armadillo, which is more people like, they want to, like I was, you want to curl up into a ball of protection, which creates that safety. Or the, you know, the ostrich, where you just put a pillow over your head and you,
Right.
and you know, you just, you're a little timid. You need to stuff that head into a pillow. So you create safety within the subconscious brain by using pressure, you know, sleep masks, things like that. And then you lying in that position, you need to get out of your own head, and then you have to like remember yourself to. You got to think. You know, you got to remember yourself to sleep. You can't think yourself to sleep. So the biggest thing is you got to shut down the brain and access those memories. And when you're remembering, like I remember my walk through a golf course, hole 1, hole 2, hole 3, hole 4, you know, and then, you know, your shots don't, you know, if you have bad shots, don't get nervous, because then if you're stimulating your brain, that's a problem. But you just remember every hole and boom, you're asleep. And then if you keep remembering the same memory that puts yourself to sleep, you're going to go to sleep quicker and quicker and quicker, because you're training the brain that you're connecting lower heart rate, lower respiratory rate, and lower core temperature to that memory.
Yes, that has been one of the best things that you have taught me, is that remembering. So, for example, if we go out to dinner and the theater, you know, and then we come home and it's like, okay, it's time to go to sleep. We need to go to sleep. It's getting late. We've got to get up early, but like, how am I going to fall asleep? So I will remember people I saw in the lobby, people I don't know. So I don't have to think about some bad or good or fun relationship with them, because I didn't have one. I just merely saw them in my trip to go to dinner in the theater, or I'm thinking about, you know, something that's just, you know, when I was younger and I was at the park in a memory, but again, not attaching it to anything that's going to get me all fired up, you know? So that's been huge for
Brilliant.
me. Huge. I've passed that along to a lot of people. So thank you. Definitely. Thank you for that. And, you know, a lot of people, gee, I don't know if you see this with your patients, but they are, they suffer from a lot of anxieties and, you know, mental health issues, some that they never had before. I mean,
Or even just simple mood disorders.
yeah.
You know, they just find that some days they're just in a really bad mood, or
Yep.
it just waxes and wanes their whole lives.
And a lot of times we'll ask them, like I hear you ask, well, how did you sleep last night? You know, so, I mean, what are you saying about that? And, you know, what are you telling patients that
Well,
way?
you can ask my wife, because when I don't get good sleep, I'm cranky. You know, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I have to like I am so sensitive to lack of sleep. And lack of sleep, it's like, you know, you're not getting a good night's sleep one night, you know, you'll be affected the next day. But if you don't get it multiple times, your eyes are burning, you know, you just run down, you get anxious, you're irritable, you have brain fog, you're not functioning at 100%. So you think about your body like a phone, and you know, if you want to have all the apps on your phone, and you know, you want to play your Candy Crush and whatever you want to do on your phone, well, the more you use the phone, the more you're on that phone at night, you need to plug it in, right, to recharge it.
Yep.
And our body's the same way. If we expect performance and we expect to use our body, and Dan, you and I know, well, when do we repair? When do we recharge? We recharge at night. And this is really important to understand. So let's look at the quality of the cord, I guess you can say. You have fast charging cords, and then you have slow charging cords. The quality of your sleep is is really, are you recharging only a little bit, or are you fully recharging at night? When you really recharge at night, the next day is a game changer. You wake up, you jump out of bed, you have energy, you feel like you're ready to grab the day by the horns per se. Those
Yeah.
aren't the horns, those are the horns. And then you're really able to just feel better. When you're run down and you don't fully recharge, one night you can get over that with your adrenal glands. Then the next day, you can use the adrenal glands. Then the next day, you use your adrenal glands. But Dan, we know if you keep using your adrenal glands to substitute real good, healthy energy, what's happening to the body internally?
Right. And the cortisol is so important. And if you just keep spending it and keep spending it without replenishing it and not enabling your body to replenish that, then you're right. You're going to become cortisol fatigued or adrenal fatigued, and you're just going to go down. And Peter, you know that there's so many studies that have been out there that show that when you do get less sleep or less quality sleep, like you're talking about, not only is it just mood disorders or that you're in a bad mood, but even legit, mental illness like depression, like anxiety disorders are through the roof when you don't allow that brain to take over, to restore itself, and not count on other systems in your body to do it. Because once you get all those hormonal imbalances, that's when those kinds of, mental disorders really take place.
And I remember reading a study once, and it said that the average individual to metabolize the buildup of cortisol can take up to 5 days, and that is a sedentary individual. So think about the buildup of cortisol. So you're exposed to one stressful event, and another stressful event, and another stressful event, and you go to sleep, and now you're building up cortisol. Now you have this anxious state. The only way to metabolize cortisol quicker is to elevate the metabolism of the organs, which is exercise. So
Yeah.
if we're not exercising, metabolizing our cortisol because we're fatigued and we don't feel like we're exercising, it's kind of like this downward spiral.
Yes.
If you don't have the energy to expend, this buildup of cortisol just creates this anxious state. So along with sleep, we talk about a daily routine, right? So you want to get your skin exposed to the sun as much as you can. You want to ground to the earth, and you want to exercise because you need to, especially if you're not getting good sleep. It's really always a downward effect, right? You're going to crave carbohydrates, which will lead to more depression and anxiety. You want to start a healthy exercise routine. So you can maintain, regardless of the fatigue at the beginning, like get that slow ball rolling, metabolize that cortisol, get that feeling of natural exhaustion at the end of the day so you fall asleep naturally. That's going to be a way to cycle this ball back into the right way.
And get your rhythm back, get that circadian rhythm back. I've heard many sleep specialists say the best way to start your sleep hygiene is first thing in the morning, and get up in the morning and get moving. But it doesn't have to be that you go to the gym and work out, but it's just like you say, go get yourself grounded outside, put your face in front of that morning sunlight, just get your body out and moving is going to make the biggest difference at the end of the day and how you're able to fall asleep.
We all try to catch up, right? We
Yeah.
go, oh, we forgot to do this, we forgot to do that. Okay, let's just work out, before sleep. And just to that point, is it better, worse, working out at the end of the day before you go to bed, or first thing in the morning? Or, hey, the best workout's the one you're going to do? I mean,
Right.
what do you think?
Do you like red cars or do you like black cars? Right.
Yeah, what do you
Exactly.
think on that?
So all right, it all depends on what we're looking at, right? So if it's for sleep, the worst time to work out is right before bed, right? Because ultimately, in order to get good sleep, or let's say let's just categorize sleep into two departments:
Okay.
body repair and mind repair,
Mhm.
right? So our body repair typically happens within the first third of our sleep cycle. That's in a stage of sleep called deep sleep. And then mind repair typically happens towards the end of our sleep. So when we're looking at body repair, we want our body's core temperature to drop 1 to 2 degrees as quickly as possible. These are the people that are like, oh yeah. I can have a cup of cappuccino right before bed and it doesn't affect my sleep. You may be able to fall asleep, but in order for you to get good deep sleep and have that heart rate come down, you need your respiratory rate to drop, you need your heart rate to drop, and your core temperature to drop. Anything that elevates one of those three, you may be falling asleep, but you're not getting good, deep, but restorative body sleep. So elevating your body's heart rate and elevating your core temperature, because it elevates your metabolism, is what exercise typically does.
Right.
You can do some weight exercises, which
Yep.
isn't an issue, but if you
Okay.
do aerobic exercises towards the later on in the day,
Yeah.
you're going to destroy it. So now tomorrow night, which is Tuesday, I'm mountain biking really heavy, and I know that I'm not going to get any deep sleep that night. Really little, but I can make that deep sleep up the next night. So if it's a matter of exercising every night, that's an issue. But if you're going to exercise late one night, your body is going to be able to make that up the night before. Or I will typically nap on Wednesday if I really get a little bit run down on that Tuesday.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
like exercising a little earlier in the day.
That's
No, I love that because when you think about how sleep affects your body's recovery, your physical recovery, for people that are maintaining their fitness, that body needs that deep sleep to release that growth hormone, to release those factors that are going to help their muscles recover. Like you say, Dr. SleepRight, Peter, that when you are working out and your heart rate's up and you never achieve that deep sleep, you don't give your body a chance to release those hormones, to release those recovery substances that are going to help your muscles for the next day. So when you do your mountain biking tomorrow, Peter, Wednesday, you're going to be suffering because you're not giving that recovery for all the muscle work that you just did. You're right. Yes, you can catch up a little bit, but yeah, you'll be hurting on Wednesday.
But
I do.
What
Go ahead.
But what I love about what you said is, because we talk a lot about this in nutrition, I'm always talking about planning. People like planning their meals ahead of time. So if you're going somewhere where things may go awry, and you're going to eat something that you don't typically want to eat, doesn't support your goals, that's okay. Get right back on the wagon. So
Yep.
never really thought about planning out your sleep too. Same thing. If you probably wouldn't want to go, mountain biking 2, 3, 4 times, like that, to that degree in a row, knowing that you're not going to get that restorative sleep, because you're just going to, tank your goals. So
Just like you, that is so perfect to say. So just give you an idea about my patterns. On the weekends, I typically, lifestyle wise and nutrition wise, that's my feast days. So I'm a little higher carbohydrates. I give myself the opportunity to go out, me and my wife. I love margaritas. Maybe I'll have a couple of margaritas, but
yeah,
on a Saturday, I don't get great sleep. I understand it. I get it. Sometimes on a Sunday, we'll have a barbecue. But on a Tuesday afternoon, I typically have a nap schedule that's built in. I may use it, I may not use it. And then sometimes on Wednesday afternoon, those are my 2 days that I have naps, and I'll use it based on what the lifestyle was the few days before. Last night on my Sunday nights, I usually give myself 10 hours to be able to stay in bed if I need it. Last night I got 10 hours of sleep, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of people like, oh my God, but you can get 6 hours of sleep and be fine with it but once you start to train those patterns, and your body it knows what it needs. I was exhausted at 8:30. So I ended up going to bed at 9 and I woke up at about 7. And that's a long time frame for me.
yeah,
I don't normally get that much sleep, especially in the summer. I need much less than that. But I went golfing in the mornings. I was so there was just a lot of lack of sleep. But I prepare the 2 days at the beginning of the week to reset.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
good point.
key. I've learned a lot. So we talk to people about sleep hygiene, things like, you say, unplugging, getting your room dark, keeping your room cool, those kinds of things. But what I have learned and what we have learned from you, now that we've been getting our chiropractic treatment, is that connection between the treatment that we get. And I know when I get my adjustment, I sleep better that night.
Yeah.
Dr. Peter, I don't know, some connection there. But so what is that connection between chiropractic treatment and sleep?
So the treatment connects, it's basically within what we call, we talked about it earlier, the autonomic nervous system. So that cortisol typically is stimulated from a specific nervous system called your sympathetic nervous system, right? Your survive nervous system. On the opposite end of that, so survive is ultimately awake and running from a tiger. Your thrive nervous system is typically considered your parasympathetic nervous system, or thrive and survive. Thrive versus survive. So you thrive and grow and heal is parasympathetic nervous system, which is immune system, digestive system, and reproductive system. Now, when you get adjusted, we adjust you in a specific area that basically picture watering a garden, taking your foot off of the garden hose. If you're standing on that hose, it's affecting the flow of water. So when the spine is out of alignment in a specific area, it affects a specific nerve that we adjust on you called your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is 80% of all of that thrive nervous system to the body. So when we adjust you, we basically take your foot off of the hose, stimulating relaxation, grow, and repair. So the night that you get adjusted, you're really going to be able to get a better sleep because you're able to come down because you're not as sympathetically stimulated.
Incredible.
Wow, that's great.
It's fantastic.
Great explanation.
I know you have a sleep challenge coming up. Would you talk a little bit about that, when it is, how
certainly
people
do.
You're going to challenge me to sleep? I mean,
Yeah.
what is
I'm going to, so basically it's like, so our brand is helping people get way better sleep, awakening the full potential, his way, of a well-rested, aligned you. So the way is well-rested and aligned you.
Yeah.
So the alignment in bed, which is critically important. So we have a 4-day way better sleep challenge. It's free to the public.
Okay.
And it goes over, posture, timing, quality, the 10-minute sleep ritual, gives you all of the fundamental core ritualistic habits that it takes to be able to get way better sleep.
Yes.
And that would, we're launching that June 10th.
June
Is when
10th.
we're launching it. So we launch it every quarter. We allow people to be able to come into the program.
And how can people
Sorry,
access
yes.
that?
Oh,
That's
very nice. Thank you so much. Dr. Pam.
Yeah, right.
So they can go to drdrsleepright.com,
Okay.
RIGHT, and they can go there. They can look at our membership program, or they can register to join the free challenge there.
Okay, excellent, great. And I didn't mention too, where you are located in Linfield, and how people could come and see you personally there for some chiropractic treatment, just to learn more about it and learn more about sleep. Where is that?
That's in Linfield. It's at Atlantis, like the island under the water.
Yeah.
AtlantisWellness.com. Atlantis literally translated means island of Atlas. Atlas is the top bone in the human body that affects that vagus nerve.
Did
So
not
that's
know
why
that.
we
Yes.
named it Atlantis.
Okay.
And, so it's AtlantisWellness.com.
Okay, fantastic, great.
That's awesome. And the way you tie it all together, Peter, with habits, the way you mention that it's important that you develop some of these rituals, like you say, or the hygiene, like the other sleep experts talk about. And it's all about forming those habits so that it becomes second nature, that you don't even have to think about it, that you get it part of your routine, part of the way that you live your life, and you're not going to feel better than doing that. That is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for what you've done to help us and our family. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. And thank you guys for making a massive impact in humanity.
Well,
Thank
you.
All right. Thanks a lot for having being on the program today. See you later. We'll see you soon.
All right, Peter.
All right. Thank you.
Sleep right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.